What is going on? I want to welcome you from Half Court today being Wednesday, March the 2nd. I am your host, Sean Murphy, alongside my guy. And now, standing at 6'1" from Marquette, Michigan, 6'3", whatever, screw you. Anyway, he's known as the UP Dirk, the man in the shirt, the man that will bring you hurt. He is Troy Nowitzki Sergey. Troy, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, Sean. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I don't think you appreciate adequately how you, in my opinion, get some of the best intros in the business right now, Troy.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Doesn't look like it. Oh my gosh. Troy, good to see you. I was also able to see you in person this weekend. We got food. I just won my bet. Let's go. Anyway, mama, I don't bet. Anywho, yeah, so we were able to hang out. I'm going to be standing in your wedding, which is pretty cool. And we had good food, good talks, and almost waited unnecessarily long for a okay wet burrito.
Glad we didn't do that, Sean. Glad we didn't do that.
I'm really glad we didn't either. However, the wait at the place we ended up going was almost worse in some ways. But at least we got to sit down, though, and at the end of the day, that's
true.
Matters.
That is true.
100%.
We had some quality time watching some Duke and Syracuse and some Texas Christian and Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say watch, you mean very broadly look over once in a while to notice that Duke is just stomping Syracuse in the freaking ground, and the program that once was is now an absolute sham-a-lama ding-dong. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, 100%. But you know what isn't a sham? From Half Court, because each and every week, this guy and that guy talk about all things NBA basketball right here. If you like that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and comment down below. Get involved in the From Half Court community. Also, be sure to be reading my work at Woodward Sports. That is in the comment section down below. If you'd like to donate to From Half Court and contribute to what we're doing, that is also down below as well. But anyway, Troy, it is time for us to talk about some basketball because the league is back.
It's back, Sean. Is it back?
Let's go. Feels so good to have it back. Oh my gosh. It was such a long few weeks without basketball in my life. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even realize like how much I just missed like a Pistons game. Like, even though, like, how much that can bring pain and frustration and torment and just, you know, like, it could just get old because it's like, all right, we know what this team is. We know where they're going. We know what's happening here. So with that, Troy, what has been some of the favorite games you've seen since the game has come back? And what have been your overall thoughts of the league ever since the return from All-Star break? Personally, this might be one of the craziest returns from All-Star breaks we've had in a while with the amount of stuff that happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I think last night was super fun. Charlotte's kind of my, I guess, second favorite team in a weird way. So it was fun to watch them play the Pistons, and obviously more fun to watch our Pistons win. So that's going to probably be up there for a game that really excited that I was able to watch. And
dude, can I just
say, excited for the league was back.
Can I just say about mother time that we beat this god team, this god mother team, like 15 mother losses in a row, Troy? Like what?
That's a lot. Think about that. Like 0-15 in 5 years.
It's unreal.
It is.
And I remember specifically, I remember when I used to make recap videos on Twitter. Like people are digging up people's tweets on Twitter now. Y'all are weird, but anyway, you can find that I have videos where I recap Pistons games, And I remember specifically yelling in my car about the fact that we couldn't beat the Charlotte Hornets, and that for some reason this is just a curse over our franchise, that we could literally do anything else, but for some reason we can't beat the freaking Charlotte Hornets. Are you kidding me? But finally, we beat that freaking team.
It really is sad, Sean, that it took us so long. But
well, and of course, it could only happen. It can only be delivered by the prodigal son. I, of course, am talking about Kelly Olynyk. He has
prodigal
risen.
son.
Hold on. He has risen. He has risen indeed.
Wow. Just wow.
Wasn't that beautiful? Easter's coming up. Doesn't that make you emotional, Troy?
Yeah, comparing Kelly Olynyk to Jesus Christ. That's what I like to do on my Monday nights. But another game last night, Pacers and Celtics.
Yeah.
Fun one.
Great game.
Can't believe the Nets somehow beat the Bucks last night, and then they got their beeps. You can do the beep.
Oh, they got their kicked. Yeah.
By Toronto of all teams, right?
Yeah, like what the?
The Toronto flipping.
The Toronto
Raptors, led by Scotty, the mother rookie Barnes.
Okay, enough with the bleep button for now, but I like where it's going.
No, but really, I mean, I think that was a crazy game in itself too. The fact that the Nets were able to beat the Bucks, but then lose. And then tonight, I gotta say, Sean, the fact that the Heat made a statement tonight against the Bulls. I mean, I think that shakes up the league a little bit too. So I think that's definitely worth talking about.
I mean, okay. I don't mean that it's not like a big deal or anything, but to me, like I wouldn't say shake up the league. I mean, and the reason why is because Chicago still isn't healthy, and so right now it doesn't matter if they lose against the Heat. I mean, obviously the Heat are full. They have their full team, and the Bulls are missing multiple key pieces. So to me, it's like not to like minimize that win, because I mean, that is a statement win for the Heat as far as like, oh yeah, like no, they are a really good team and they have their stuff together right now. But as far as like, for the Bulls, like I wouldn't say like losing to like one of the teams with the best records in the league is a bad thing. You know what I mean? On top of that, we've had performances like Ja Morant, funny enough, against the Bulls, setting the franchise record for like the most points in a game by a Memphis Grizzly at 46. So Ja Morant doing Ja Morant things. Frickin' DeMar DeRozan just can't stop scoring points. And
except tonight, he didn't really do that
tonight. Well, not tonight, but he was playing Miami. I mean, it had to end at some point. This was kind of the natural point for that streak to die down a little bit. But I mean, like, DeMar DeRozan has firmly entered himself into the MVP conversation this week. Like people are starting to really wake that up. And so to me, like, I have people asking me about what my thoughts are on the MVP conversation, and I would say right now it's a three-headed race in my opinion. Although I think Jokic should be in the race, I think people are just inclined to not give it to the same guy 2 years in a row. I think we get bored of greatness. But in my opinion right now, Joel Embiid is still number one. And then below him, just below him, it's a fight between DeMar DeRozan and Ja Morant. In my opinion, that's the top three. But, I mean, you can also argue that the three best players in the NBA right now are all centers. Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid.
In a league of wings, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, and they were talking about that. It's the thing of, we've talked about it a little bit about on this podcast before too, but people talk about, oh, well, the big man is dead. The position is dying. People aren't playing this position. It doesn't matter. Literally, some of our best players in the league are all bigs. Like the scariest duo right now is very akin to to the Shaq and Kobe type of dominance we can see offensively. Not in the way of style and how they play. Like I wrote an article talking a little bit about that duo, and I talked about how I saw it as more like if Julius Erving played with Akeem Olajuwon. You know what I mean? Like kind of more of like that finesse and efficiency scoring, getting to the line, like, you know, like not necessarily with athleticism. I mean, Dr. J was a freaking athlete, but also at the same time, he was a baller. You know what I mean? Like that, just that style. Like James Harden's just a different style of like all-time great scorer. You know, not really like unlike anything we've really ever seen in the game. You know?
I do know. I do know.
Speaking of Troy, holy, they've looked good. Like,
yep. Who called it last podcast, Sean?
Oh,
this guy.
Oh, I agreed with you. I knew they were going to look good. I just didn't think they were going to look this good, this quick. Like, can we talk about the fact that the pairing of Tyrese Maxey and James Harden so far has been seamless? Like, already, just seamless. And James Harden, like, and Joel Embiid, like, they don't have to go out there and do anything, like, overly complicated or things that are, like, outside of their wheelhouse. Because, like, the way that their games complement each other, it's literally just, oh, yeah, let's just go do what we do best. Let's just go be the scariest pick-and-roll threat on any given team. Oh, and hey, Knicks, the guys that, like, aren't really, you know, disciplined on the defensive end, we're just going to get 27 free throws combined. And we're going to make, like, 89% of them or 85% of them. And they're going to kill you from the line. You're going to be in foul trouble. And like literally it got to the point where towards the end of the game, there wasn't even a center on the Knicks side who could come in and defend Joel Embiid because Mitchell Robinson and the rest of their big men were all in foul trouble because they all were fouling Embiid. He kept drawing fouls. I mean, Troy, what's the answer to this team? If they keep playing like that,
as far as defending this team and how beating this team,
if they keep playing like this, what's the answer, dude? Like,
there's no answer, Sean, and that excites me.
Terrifying.
Because I like Embiid, but I'm not a Sixers guy. I like Embiid and I like Harris, obviously, for sentimental reasons. But obviously, I'm not the biggest Harden guy, and definitely was not a Simmons guy. So I have a hard time rooting for the Sixers, but I want Embiid to succeed. I want Tobias Harris to succeed. I want Doc Rivers to succeed. Right. So they're kind of my team in a weird way, as far as I just love that they're serious now. Yeah. You know, I hated how they came together, but I love the seriousness I've been seeing from them. And you're right, Sean. His offensive game, Embiid, again, his offensive game, man.
Well, even just how much of a maestro as far as a playmaker that James Harden's already been in Philly, because like generally speaking, like with playmakers, like the difference between a good playmaker and a great playmaker is a good playmaker over time with comfortability with his teammates can generate offense and get your team going. Like Ricky Rubio, like give him some time to get to know the guys around him. He'll make you a playoff team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there's James Harden, who he can roll in day one and get 14 assists. He can day one generate offense in the fast break with Tyrese Maxey, get him open looks. Day one can just naturally get easier looks for Danny Green, make better offense for Matisse Thybulle. Can day one generate a good pick and roll with Joel Embiid. Like just James Harden already is just making Philly his even though it's Joel Embiid's team and Philly's always going to be Joel Embiid's city. Like as far as like who's got the keys to the car, it's James Harden. And he is going to take that car and he's going to frickin' run with it, man. He
is. And that's exciting. That's exciting for the league because listen, this team has kind of been the laughing stock of the playoffs. I'm not going to say the league, but of the playoffs the past few years, right? Because they just have not gotten stuff done. And James Harden is going to help that team, Sean. Yeah. And this is the most serious in a 2-game stretch. This is the most serious I've seen James Harden play.
Oh yeah.
And I think that this is a new James Harden. This is a new James Harden, Sean.
Well, I wouldn't go.
I'm going there.
I wouldn't. And the reason why I wouldn't is because it's the same thing we have said with James Harden whenever he gets into new teammates, and like when the Rockets were winning all the games that they were winning, when like whether that was both with Chris Paul, but even like a little bit of the run that he had with Russ, it's always the thing of, oh, well, once the playoffs hits, this team could be dangerous. Like, who's going to be able to stop them? Well, here's the problem, Troy. We haven't seen James Harden do this well many times over a 7-game series, especially in later playoff rounds, especially against the teams that he needs to step up and do it against. The series that shine the brightest. And there's even been moments when like he's faced the Warriors shorthanded, where they were in a position, game 7 at home against Golden State. All they had to do was hit their shots, and the entire team doesn't hit a 3-point field goal for the entirety of the fourth quarter. Like, dude, listen, at a certain point, it's like, yeah, I'm impressed that you can go out there and on a regular basis, you can put up double-doubles, borderline triple-doubles, and put on a clinical offensive display, and you are one of the best offensive players of all time. But again, at what point do we not just acknowledge the fact that, dude, you haven't done when it comes to when it matters?
But that's what I'm saying is we have a new guy who actually wants to do beep, right?
Didn't Kevin Durant want to do it?
Did what?
Kevin Durant wanted to do it.
James Harden didn't, clearly.
But you're saying, but what?
I'm saying a new James Harden, a serious James Harden, a James Harden that cares about winning.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. You're seeing James Harden that's serious about winning, but like, again, it's not about being serious about winning. It's like he's serious when he's in the playoffs. The problem is he's been serious and he's been seriously bad. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't doubt that you want to be here. I just don't know what you're going to do when you are. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Like, because so far, if we're just going to take with what evidence has given us, we haven't been given a whole lot of reason to be super stoked. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it hasn't been super inspiring as of late. So I want to see more. I really want to see more. But, with that, we're going to be seeing a whole lot of this team. I will say, as of right now, just as far as watching this basketball team and watching them in the regular season, they're going to put on a clinic. And they're going to rule the league for a little while. I could see them going on like a 12-game win streak. I'm dead serious. Like, if Joel Embiid and James Harden stay on the court together, like, I wonder where they're going to be in the rankings by the end of the season, because they could squeeze into some home court advantage. Seriously. So, I'm super interested to see. But Troy, as of right now, are you still telling me? I know you told me this last week that they were your favorites to go to the finals. But as of today, if James Harden and Joel Embiid and this 76ers team that you have seen so far faces the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, Giannis Antetokounmpo, are you still telling me that the Philadelphia 76ers win that series and go on to be champions?
I do. Well, I don't know about going on to be champions.
Okay.
But Eastern Conference champions.
But Eastern Conference champions. Okay.
Yeah.
You still like who's out west more?
Yeah, I like Phoenix more.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't blame you. Phoenix is pretty good. I love seeing the top. Yeah, there we go.
I like Phoenix more. Yes, I do.
Yeah, Phoenix is pretty hard to count out. Now, the only thing obviously is, when are we going to get Chris Paul? Is he going to be able to be in the playoffs? What's that actually going to look like? Now, I personally think he'll be ready to go, and even if he has to, slowly come back, even if Chris Paul has to play with one hand, he'll play with one hand, and he'll still get 13 assists.
He will. That's just who he is, Sean.
Yeah,
That's who Chris Paul is.
That's in his DNA. Now, speaking of being in DNA, what is not in the DNA of this team, the Los Angeles Lakers, is losses like they experienced on Sunday night. They got their asses kicked by the New Orleans Pelicans, 123-95. This was at home against New Orleans, a team that on paper shouldn't even be close to the LA Lakers, even without Anthony Davis on the court, with LeBron James and Russell Westbrook on a team, even with how bad we've seen this team be at home, no reason for this team to get hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. Yet we saw just that, Troy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We sure did.
In your opinion, Troy, is what's going on in LA? Is any of this salvageable?
Oh, it's not salvageable at all. But what's going on is aged legs, I think, and miscommunication on the court. Not a good high chemistry. But also, Sean, your point guard isn't good.
Can we just say it? It's a bad roster. It is flat out a bad roster. I brought up this idea to Cone. By the way, shout out to Cone.
Shout out to Cone.
And I've seen him, and I threw this take at him, and I've seen him like it, and I've seen him adopt it. Where the Lakers, after they won the championship, they kind of took what wasn't broke and tried to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since, that roster has not been the same. It seems to me like that's just still the case. I mean, they waived DeAndre Jordan, and now they brought in DJ Augustine, who is like...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that happened today. So DeAndre Jordan got waived in favor for DJ Augustine. So first of all, yikes for DeAndre Jordan that he got waived in favor of DJ Augustine, which, by the way, DeAndre Jordan's about to go be Joel Embiid's backup in Philly. That's also been confirmed. But with that, it's just, Troy, it's not even like, I knew this team wasn't going to be good. I didn't think they were going to be this bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was going to be this, like, it's not even fun to talk about.
No, it's not. It's really not worth our time, Sean, but it's still worth our time because this is half court. But yeah, I mean, a depleted roster. I mean, I think that's the best way to say it too. A dying team. They don't have what it takes to succeed in this modern day NBA either too.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's the big thing.
Well, and like people want to know what the decline of LeBron was going to be. And I think the answer has been pretty clear. And it's like, I think we're seeing it right now where it's like, it's not that LeBron is declining as far as like being a good NBA player. That's not the case at all. But LeBron can't carry a team anymore. He's not going to, like the LeBron that we saw that can take a team single-handedly from a bottom of the lottery team to a finals team multiple years in a row. That guy's just not there. He has too many miles. He's 35. He's had multiple injuries, and they're the kind of injuries that are nagging and that get re-aggravated easily, especially as you keep throwing more miles on. So, Troy, do you think the Lakers look at possibly making a move like trading Anthony Davis this offseason?
Ooh. I'm
throwing the haymakers, Troy.
Yeah, no, I did see that was a possibility. And my heart says no, but in a weird way, Sean, I feel like they kind of have no choice.
Well, like, what happens? Isn't he supposed to be like the future? Was it the plan that this was supposed to be the passing of the torch and that this was going to be Anthony Davis's team and he's going to be the one that is going to bring the Lakers to future championships as LeBron gets older? Look at
yes, but here's the thing. Injuries took him
right
to a place that he could never truly be the reliable
Can
piece in that scenario.
I just had a take come naturally. I want to throw it out to you, Troy.
Let's hear it.
So it seems like this team was built around Anthony Davis, right?
Right.
Would that be fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Isn't it funny? Once this team was built around Anthony Davis, how much like his New Orleans Pelicans teams these look? Like this just looks like his teams in New Orleans, does it not? Just
It does.
like
I see it.
another all-star beside him, but not really one that can carry the team over the top. In LeBron's case, just can't do that anymore, or not every night. And then you have Russell Westbrook, who is Russell Westbrook, but then otherwise, it's just a ton of good, not great role players that they got on cheap salaries. And it's uninspired basketball, which is exactly what Anthony Davis's time in New Orleans was. And it's what his Lakers career is turning into.
Outside of, it's unfortunate.
You know, it turns out guys can win a championship when they have a 3-month break between the regular season and the postseason and are fully rested and can play the playoffs off of an entire offseason's worth of rest.
In a bubble.
In a bubble with no fans in an empty gym. Who would have thought? But anyway, that's fine. It's all good. You know, still not an asterisk in the sense that he's an NBA champion, and it did take special adversity to win that championship in particular. However, at the same time, he hasn't been the same guy since, but that's fine. With that though, Troy, you know what team has been blossoming of late?
And who is that, Sean?
Detroit basketball.
Kinda.
Come on, that was pretty cool. You got to be honest.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, Sean.
That sounded pretty cool. They have won 3 of 4, and they ended the long-lasting losing streak between the Charlotte Hornets off of a Kelly Olynyk buzzer beater. I mean, how's that not something to be excited about?
I'm excited, Sean.
But what have been your thoughts? I mean, it seems to me like this team's energy, or like this team's abilities have just not abilities, but like it just seems like they're playing like far more cohesive, far more effort on the defensive end. It just, it just seems to me like they're playing harder.
Yeah. No, all those things are true, Sean. And I think the heart of that relies in a man named Cade Cunningham. I see him playing great basketball. I see him playing inspired basketball. Not necessarily rookie of the year being the reason, but I see him wanting to get better, wanting to impact his team, wanting his team to get better.
Well, he certainly is the number one guy. Like I think it's fair to say that he's been he has been the best player on this team.
Oh, absolutely. And I think for me, he's a guy that I want to build my franchise around. And I'm glad that my team is building around him. So yeah, I think the difference relies in Cade Cunningham, and a little better performance, even more inspired. Not that he's had a rocky season, but Saddiq Bey too.
Yeah.
I think he's really been more consistent.
Well, since January. He's been outstanding. Like, it's really just been like, actually like more like since December, like when a lot of those guys went out, like due to health and safety protocols, like when it was like, all right, Saddiq, just go out and shoot, like just go out and do your thing. It just seems like ever since that point when like Saddiq kind of got the keys and like had the freedom to go out there and just try, and like once the shot started falling down more consistently, I think his confidence just skyrocketed, and he had the rhythm to go along with it.
And the rhythm, I think, is what I see as a big factor there. So
yeah, absolutely. I think also though Jeremy Grant has been playing a lot better of late as well.
Big time. A
lot of people out there. Hi, Adam Baydoun. Shout out, Adam. Love to hate on my guy Jeremy Grant. However, again, are you telling me that a guy who can defend 1 through 5, that can score 20 points if you need him to, who can score at all 3 levels, in the paint, in the mid-range, and beyond the arc, and a guy that is a decent passer too. Are you telling me that guy's not valuable? Like, I get he's not having his best year. I get he's not as good as he was last year, but he's like close. I don't know. It just seems to me like we criticize Jeremy Grant whenever he has off shooting nights, but like we don't ever talk about it when Sadiq Bey does. We sure as heck don't talk about it when Cade Cunningham does.
Right.
We only talk about it when Cade does it like 2 or 3 nights in a row. I will say though, one thing about Cade Cunningham, the first genuine criticism I can give him, you got to figure it out with the foul trouble, man.
Sure.
It is something that has genuinely caused Detroit games at this point. Like, it has, straight up. And, you know, like, even watching, like, the Boston game, like, it's like, dude, you're unstoppable. You can be out there. Even the Charlotte game, he has to leave in, like, with, like, 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
The burst.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like, you always are getting these fouls. And, like, I get that you would, like, I get you don't want to be beat on the defensive end. And, like, I get that you want to stay in front of your defender, but, like, what you have to figure out is that there's other ways to do it in the league, because you're sure as heck not going to be able to do it the way that you've been trying. You're not going to be able to go in there. You're not going to be able to just, you know, give these guys hand checks. I mean, they're going to call these calls, especially against the Stars. Now, the good thing is that Cade Cunningham's been getting calls against himself, which, you know, we've been waiting for a little while. So
big time.
Yeah. So good to see that the refs are finally like, you know, like, oh, my bad. Like, yeah, we probably should call it for you too. Like, you know, who would have thought? But what do you think about Jeremy Grant, Troy? What are your thoughts on him so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the Jeremy Grant of last year, but I don't know if he really needs to be honest with you.
Well, like, is it far off though?
No, it's not far off. But I think he's a guy that, he's gonna help someone next year. Like, in my head, Sean, as a Pistons fan, I'm really not thinking a lot about Jeremy Grant, to be honest with you. He's just not someone in my radar that I'm hoping
he's
to
gone
develop
long-term?
more. Yeah, I kind of am. I don't want that to be the case, but I see that being the future.
So I wrote an article today talking about the Pistons rest of this season and what they're looking to do. And so it's definitely already, it's already out now as of the time of recording, but it's definitely out already. So go ahead and check it out on our website. Again, all the links to my stuff in the comments or in the description down below. But anyway, I talked about this, the fact that in these final games, what we're really establishing a couple things. First of all, identity. Second of all, really just trying to get more consistent play out of our guys. But also just, this is really going to be like, we're not going to see a lot of these guys in Pistons uniforms, perhaps even NBA uniforms after this. So like a lot of the guys like we're going to be seeing throughout this stretch, it's really going to be guys fighting for their jobs and fighting for the reason that they're going to be in this team. You know what I mean?
I strongly agree. And even a guy like Frank Jackson, you know, like what's his future gonna look like? You know?
Yeah. And I think with Jeremy Grant, I'm sorry. Yeah, I lost my train of thought for a second. With Jeremy Grant, what I was gonna say was, I also wrote about with that. I think a lot of what's gonna happen with Jeremy Grant is contingent on where the Pistons land in the lottery. Because if they get in the top 3, Jeremy Grant's gone. Like Detroit will be a little more lenient on trading him. Like if they don't get fully the price that they want, I think they just realize there's just going to be too many cooks in the kitchen. Like the front court is going to be so heavy at that point, because now we have Marvin Bagley, we have Kelly Olynyk, we have Beef Stew, we have Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Livers is playing minutes for us now.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, he had some minutes in Charlotte. Didn't look half bad. He didn't, like, you know, he wasn't like, you know, like he's a second round pick. You know, he is 100% a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah. And we know that, and that's what we really honestly wanted out of him.
Yep. And you know what? He was on the court. All right, let's see. Okay, in his one game. Oh, he's appeared in 2 games now, apparently. Oh, he appeared in like 4 minutes of game time in December. But in Charlotte, he had 6 points, 50% from 3, 2 of 4, 2 of 6 in the field total, and an assist, 2 rebounds. Hey, we'll take it. Not bad.
I like it.
Yeah, I like
Good
Isaiah
for you.
Livers. I
Good
like
for you, Isaiah Livers.
I think he could be. I think he could low key be a diamond in the rough second round pick.
Yeah. But I mean, not much more than the 3-and-D guy.
No, he's like a 3-and-D guy that will come off your bench. You know what I mean? Like, and
correct.
I'm not saying he's gonna quite be like Io DeSumo, but like, I think he's another like second round pick that we could look back at this draft and go like, oh, he was in the second round. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. To me, it seems like the second round's getting a little deeper.
Yeah, we had our first second round MVP last year.
That's true. And our first undrafted Hall of Famer. Ben, hold on. At center from Virginia University, Ben Wallace.
I like it, Sean. I like it.
I like the new toys we get to play with here from Half Court Troy. But anyway,
like it, Sean.
I'm glad you like it too. I can tell you don't hate it at all.
Love it. Love it, Sean.
But anyway, yeah, I've been impressed with the turnaround. It does seem like, there really hasn't been much drama with this team. There really hasn't been a lot of commotion. The guys are just sticking to the grind and are committed and are still bought into what we're doing. That's really all you can ask for. And I think, it's just going to come down to who's going to prove their spot on this team, because let's be honest, we don't have a lot of NBA quality guys on this roster. We don't.
Right. We don't.
So it's going to be about time for these guys to prove that they can do it. So with that, Troy, before we get into from Mount Rushmore and getting into all of that, we just gotta talk about the fact that Anthony Davis. We talked a little bit about the Lakers. I didn't touch on the fact that Anthony Davis will be out the next 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, Chris Paul will be out until the playoffs, essentially 7 to 8 weeks. Troy, of the two, which do you think's a bigger loss? Which team do you think will be more affected?
Yeah.
And do you think this affects the Suns' chances of going to the finals?
Well, it affects the Suns more because they're actually
playing for something.
They're playing for something, right? And I do think it affects them, Sean. Yeah, I think we have an option to see what Devin Booker's made of too. Right. I think we can put this on Devin Booker's shoulders too and say, hey, here's a guy that really can come in and I think swing the ball around. I think can facilitate and do some of the playmaking stuff that Chris Paul can do. So I think there's a little bit of pressure on old Devin Booker. But of course it affects their chances, Sean. Absolutely it does. Chris Paul is the corner piece of that team, and without him, they really struggle.
Yeah, and I think Devin Booker is a good playmaker. I think he's a good facilitator. I think I think he obviously can create his own shot pretty freaking well. But yeah, it's just going to be one of those things where we're just going to have to see, like when he can actually get back. And when we can actually see Chris Paul and how good of shape he's going to be in, how is that hand going to feel? What is he going to be able to do? And like, is it because if he's not back like 100%, like going into the playoffs, like, I mean, we saw the wear and tear of what the playoffs did to Chris Paul last year. So like, in a way, maybe this is like a blessing because for his like overall body, he can be rested going into the playoffs. It's really just his hand,
No, I fully agree, Sean. But we'll have to see because I think guys like Mikal Bridges too are stepping up.
Oh, yeah.
I think guys like Cam Johnson even are too. So
Even
you
DeAndre
know,
Ayton's hitting threes now, Troy.
yeah, I forgot about him too. So I think the Suns are a well balanced team without Chris Paul.
Right.
However, he makes that team, in my
Yeah.
opinion, an automatic Western Conference Finals team.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, how good has Tyrese Halliburton been in
Yeah, that
Indiana?
was going to be
I
my
just
next thing.
say,
I mean, I mentioned it a little bit earlier of my favorite game since the All-Star break, but last night against Boston, the dude went off. The dude
woo!
went off tonight against Orlando too, even though they lost. Um,
He,
Indianapolis is such a good fit for him, man. Like the
yeah.
guy can play.
Oh
Their
my
rebuild
goodness.
changed
All right.
with him.
Tyrese Halliburton in 6 games with the Pacers. 19.8 points. 10.7 assists. 52.5% from the field. 47.5% from 3. He might have an unorthodox release. For some reason, this was the guard that Sacramento said, nah, we'll move you. This is the guy that they said, we'll be better off without you and better off with De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to be honest, Troy. The Kings look dumb because not only is, again, and I will die on this hill, not only is De'Aaron Fox not the better player right now. I mean, I'm saying this as I see De'Aaron Fox scored 29 points tonight and got 10 assists. But anyway, I'll still say it. De'Aaron Fox is not as good now as Tyrese Halliburton. Going forward, Tyrese Halliburton has an actual.
That's such a fair statement to make.
Yeah.
And even if the Pacers and the Kings made that exact same trade, but instead of Tyrese Halliburton, they put De'Aaron Fox in the trade, I still think it would have made sense for both teams.
Yeah.
But with Halliburton instead, that
Yeah.
changes everything, Sean.
Well, the only thing, I don't think it made sense for Indiana in the sense that the contract for De'Aaron Fox is just too big. And I don't think you start a rebuild with a max guy who would want another max after his current max. You know what I'm saying? So,
Correct.
you know, it's just one of those things where I think, whereas Sacramento, it's more so like, all right, well, we got to maximize what we have right now. I mean, they've been playing fine. They lost a couple in a row. Looks like they actually had a little 4-game losing streak after playing really well. So it looks like Sabonis coming into the lineup hasn't really affected their overall outlook much, Troy. I wonder who could have told you that, Troy.
From half court, Sean Murphy.
Whoa. Dude, Trey Lyles is balling in Sacramento.
Tonight or just in general?
Tonight he got 24 points.
Attaboy, Trey.
He's in the starting 5. He got 20. All right, yeah. Before this, he really hasn't done much. He got 4 in his few appearances. So he looks like he appeared in 3 minutes against Brooklyn, 5 minutes against Chicago, 6 minutes against Denver, and then 16 got 7 points, and then 31 minutes got 24. So our old guy, our old reliable Trey Lyles out there, still killing it in Sacramento. Look at him go. You look like you're in disbelief.
Yeah, a little bit. But like not really. But like actually kidding.
Yeah.
But I think a guy like Trey Lyles, for whatever Sacramento's wanting to get out of him, he'll give you,
Yeah, he's fine. He's serviceable. But with that, Troy, it's time. It's already time for us to head from Mount Rushmore. Before we do, I do want to ask you one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you heard of the game? Have you heard of the game Wordle?
I have not.
You've never heard of Wordle?
Nope.
Do you have social media?
Yeah.
You've never.
I see you post it. I know what it is, but I don't know how it is or why it is the way it is.
Okay, so you've heard of Wordle. Okay. Have you heard of Purtle?
I have not heard of Purtle.
So Purtle is Wordle, but NBA players. So instead of guessing words, each day you guess a different NBA player. And they went with the NBA name Pirtle because of Yaka Pirtle. So it's his last name Pirtle. That's the name. I think I might even start making content playing the game on the channel, but essentially you have to guess an NBA player each day, and it will tell you if you got the division, it will tell you if you got the conference, if you got the height, if you got the age, it will give you like those as like hints as like where you guess. It's really hard, but it's actually really fun because then it's like you're thinking of players and it's like, who could this be? Like today, like it'll be out as a Monday. But like, so for Monday, February 28th, spoilers, it's Jalen Suggs. And so at first I put Patrick Williams because I was like, oh, well, let's just see. And it was like, oh, also 20 years old, not a forward. I'm like, Killian Hayes. Oh, it matches. And the height. And I'm like, LaMelo Ball. Nope, he's tall. Okay, nope. Okay. Oh, same conference or same division though. And you keep trying to guess. It's really fun. You should try it. But anyway,
I should try it.
There have been some really, really obscure names that it's been too. Pisses me off. But I want you to try it, and I want this to become a segment where we report how we do in Pirtle. We should even do a video where you and I play Pirtle together. Does that sound fun to you? No?
Right. Absolutely not.
All right, Troy, go yourself. Anyway, with that, it is now time, Troy, to go from Mount Rushmore. Troy, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so I think, we mentioned that we've talked to each other in person, and we talked a little bit about maybe like Pistons players, not necessarily our, Mount Rushmore, but just our favorite. But I was thinking, let's go a little bit deeper. What are our Mount Rushmores of favorite Piston individual games of the past 20 years?
Oh, man. All right, well,
I'm thinking we actually have fun with this and go down memory lane.
All right, yeah, let's do it. So I'll start. My number one Pistons game of all time is when Ben Wallace returned to Detroit as a Chicago Bull. Pistons Bulls 2006, I believe.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yep, 2006 in the Palace of Auburn Hills. I was there in the building. The atmosphere was electric. We won in the last second. We stopped
Ben Gordon, right?
Ben Gordon from a corner three. We came back. We were down 20 at halftime or down 18 at half, and Chauncey just took over in the second half, like him and Rasheed both. And I just remember, when Ben left, Detroit was pissed. We love him to death now. Accepted him back. Everything's good. He left for the money. All respect in the world. But man, at the time, Detroit versus everybody. But that's got to be up there for me because that was the best live game I've been to. And I just remember that's just one of my favorite memories as a kid.
Yeah, great. My first memory is going to be of recent, and you and I did this together. We were in the building together. The Pistons' largest comeback in franchise history. We were there for it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They were down, I think, 24 at the end of the third against the G League Memphis Grizzlies. Basically the Memphis Hustle, right? They had everyone out, and we were fighting for a playoff spot in 2019.
Yep.
This is the Reggie Jackson, the Blake Griffin team, right?
This was the second to last game of the year.
Yeah, and we needed to win both to have guaranteed playoff spots.
If we won both games, we were in.
And Sean, that first half made us mad.
We were defeated. We wanted to jump. We wanted to find the nearest roof and jump off. Like, we were not having it. But
Correct.
And there was a guy.
Two guys in particular, really. Yeah. 2.5 guys.
Yeah.
Luke Kennard, Langston Galloway, and kind of Andre Drummond
Yeah.
went off in the best way, the most exciting way ever. Because when there was like a hint to come back, like when we got to single digits, like 9,
Yeah.
and then like Luke Kennard hit a 3 to get it to like 6.
Uh-huh.
And then when we finally took the lead, it was, dude, there will never be another game like that, Sean.
That place went ape shit, Troy. It went absolute ape shit. It was
Wasn't
so
that
fun.
so fun?
It was so fun, dude. Yeah, we got those tickets for free. Shout out Pistons 6th. A good old throwback there.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah. So that has to be on my list.
Yeah. I think this one, let's do a combined Mount Rushmore because I think there's just so many to go through. I think we can make a combined list. So my next one is Blake Griffin's 50-point game against the Philadelphia 76ers back in 2018.
Yeah.
That game was awesome. First of all, the Sixers, so that helps. But also, Blake Griffin just had the best game of his career, man. He couldn't miss. Everything he was doing was working. His playmaking at the time was underrated. Like, Blake Griffin was a genuine star in Detroit. Like, people don't talk about that. Like, he was a genuine star. 3rd-team All-NBA.
Yeah, he was, Sean.
And he puts up 50 points against Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid's doing the whole, bye, because he got, didn't he get Drummond ejected? Or there was someone on the Pistons that got ejected or got fouled out because of something Andre Drummond did. But it didn't matter because Blake Griffin overcame it.
Yeah, right. And then JJ Redick hit that 3, and it was to make them up by 2 with 10 seconds left, and it was like game over. Like, we lost in double overtime.
Yeah, but then they did the fake handoff.
Fake handoff and won, and he made the free throw to win the game.
Oh.
It was great, Sean. That needs to be up there. I'm so glad you said that.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. We have a little breaking news right now.
Okay.
The Memphis Grizzlies just beat the San Antonio Spurs. Ja Morant dropped 52.
Yeah, that's worth talking about.
2 days ago, he scored 46. He dropped 52 tonight. He broke the franchise scoring record 2 days ago and then went again and crashed it on the next night.
MVP, baby.
MVP.
He's really worth it.
Really
next on my list is a sad one, but it needs to be on it for my list.
All right, let's hear it.
The last championship level performance of the Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace era, which was 2 games in. It was Allen Iverson's second game. And we went into LA Lakers. And we beeped it up.
Oh, we it up.
Yeah. Allen Iverson went off. That was one of his better games as a Piston. Rasheed went off. All the guys went off that game, Sean.
Yeah.
And Kobe even had a really good game. I think Kobe had over 40.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a basketball game. We ran away with the contest. And it was an ESPN game. One of the last good times where we were a serious ESPN type of game.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. We were in the picture beyond 2004.
This is 2009. I'm talking about.
Oh, 2008. My bad.
Yeah, this is Allen Iverson.
Oh, my bad. I briefly got tripped up when you said Lakers because I was like,
yeah.
My bad.
This is Allen Iverson's second game of the year.
Oh, I'm embarrassed. My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we annihilated the Lakers with Allen Iverson. And it seriously looked like, I know we were both sad when they traded Chauncey, but in that one game, it looked like we won the deal with Allen Iverson.
Yeah. I mean, that one game was pretty fun.
So
I never thought we won the deal with Allen Iverson. No matter what good game he had, I was like, all right, but Chauncey Billups won me a title.
That was the last hope where I saw a game where I was like, wow, this team could genuinely win a championship. So that to me has to be on that list.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, honorable mention, the 2015 NBA playoffs, Pistons Cavaliers game 3.
Game 6, 2016. 16.
Oh, 2006 game 3.
2016.
Yeah, I said 16.
I thought you said 15 first.
And then I corrected myself and said 2016.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I was like, yeah, 2016 NBA playoffs, game 3, Pistons Cavaliers at the Palace of Auburn Hills. First playoff game in years, and damn, did we almost win it! And there was that awesome dunk from Kentavious Caldwell over LeBron.
Yeah.
There was all the antics booing LeBron in person. Oh, I love booing LeBron James with all my heart. Man, it was just such a fun game. And it was like the one night where it felt like we were on the upswing. And then it all fell apart. But that team did bring me hope in a time of darkness. So
big time.
That game was a lot of fun. So definitely got to shout that one out.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. And I think, obviously like the championship teams, but yeah, whatever. I would say for me, another game that is worth mentioning is the last game the Pistons won a playoff game. And that would have been game 4 of the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. Jason Maxiell had a nasty block on Kevin Garnett. I'm proud to say I watched that full game start to finish as a 4th grader. I'm kidding. It was good. I mean, Chauncey played great, Rip played great, and Boston just looked like they weren't prepared. I mean, we won by double digits, and from the get-go, Boston just wasn't ready to face us that game.
Well, I just keep forgetting the fact that you and I grew up in kind of different Pistons eras, like where like I kind of grew up more with that 2005 on team, and you kind of grew up really with like the
Iverson and Stuckey,
with Rodney Stuckey. Oh man, what a guy! You know who else is quite a guy, Troy?
Walter Herman. Oh, okay.
I was gonna say you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Exactly. This is a nice way to wrap a bow, because this has been another beautiful episode from Half Court, where each and every week Troy and I sit down and talk about all things NBA basketball. If you like that, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. You can find us on all the podcast services your heart yearns for, that they long and desire for. And with that, we want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time from Half Court. Hey you there. I got these guns. Be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, okay, bye.
Bro, you just made